Does that look like us? Is that us?
It is us.
Sebastien Bourdais, you had a very fine observation after your qualifying run here for the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg.
Hang on, I'm dreading what's coming next.
If we were at the legendary Nürburgring in Germany, you might have set an all-time lap record with your 4-minute and 58-second tour. Unfortunately, we are indeed in St. Pete this weekend. Before I get to how the rest of qualifying went for everybody else, how's this?
There's really nothing to talk about. It didn't happen.
No.
So
This is actually the Bourdais formula: the start last and/or thereabouts, and then pull miracles. So in theory, tell everyone this was your master plan all along. Then you'll sound like a
no, it isn't. But if history repeats itself to perfection, which it has so far, where you basically all weekend feel like you got a pretty good car and you got nothing to show for, and you basically don't qualify. So far we're on schedule for a 3P, but I don't even know what to say anymore.
So we had some bizarre stuff in the first round of qualifying. I believe in your session where there were 2 red flags. You were trying to go back out to post a representative time. Your teammate Santino Ferrucci went off the final corner, brought out a red flag with a minute left.
Okay, so just defending him the exact same way I did 2 years ago.
Yes, you taught him well.
Well, the problem is we both have the same issue where brake balance is very far forwards, and same as Mid-Ohio, same as Long Beach in practice, same as here 2 years ago. And unfortunately, it's if you do not look at your brake balance when you leave the pits on cold brakes, that happens. So I haven't spoken to him. I don't know if that's exactly, but looking at where he hit in the tires, I'm pretty familiar with the position. So I'd say I'm 75% sure that that's what happened. If not, it's just because the wind switched and it's made a 180 turn. Instead of a headwind, now it's a tailwind going in there. So,
What would you rate that? Since you've done that before, do you get like a 9.0, 9.2, or you still got work to do? What do you think?
Well, no, I mean, I feel so bad for him because I know how much effort he's put into this, and he's had a pretty miserable weekend so far, where he's not been happy with the car, and it's been tough, and then nothing in qualifying. So I mean, hopefully there's a long day tomorrow of racing where he can show what he can do, but not the way we both wanted to start the season, that's for sure.
So on Friday, Hondas were looking very strong. That's not an unfamiliar thing here. Qualifying, we end up with a little bit of Noah's Ark. 2 Team Penske Chevys, 1-2 Will Power, followed by Joseph Newgarden. The second row, we've got 2 Ganassi cars. Felix Rosenqvist ahead of Scott Dixon. And on the third row, Ryan Hunter-Reay from Andretti Autosport and his teammate Alexander Rossi. So does that give us any indicator as to what we might see in the race tomorrow in terms of power and capabilities between manufacturers?
I don't know. We're talking about power, honestly. I think, and I don't know that we know anything about the race. What I can tell you is that that's a trend that's been repeating itself to a lot, where when it gets hot and it gets abusive of those soft Firestone tires, there is no better car than the Penske's to repeat runs and sustain lap time, or sometimes even improve. And we've seen that time and time again, and they're masters at that. Yeah. And they've done it again. And I mean, obviously, I think Scott's got to be feeling pretty relieved that he's where he's at, because
made a shock change.
He's had a bit of a miserable session, and he pulled it off once again, which is why he's the great guy he is, and all the championships and all. Because, and you throw whatever you want at him, and he spins, still managed to recover, and I mean, it's pretty darn impressive. And then obviously Felix, just showing that. He's got it. Yeah, he's got it for sure. The big surprise, not so much Rossi, because he hasn't had the pace all week so far, but Ryan. I mean, you look at Ryan's lap time in Q1, 60.1.
Crazy.
Boom, right off the bat, and only went backwards from there, which is strange. And I guess they're probably scratching their heads a little bit. I mean, just not a straightforward day, that's for sure. But that's why I guess people love IndyCar, because it's very uncertain, and you never know how it's going to shake out until it's done.
Let's close on two items, one qualifying and one the race. We did have a couple of instances where Colton Herta got into the Fast Six, but he was pulled out for interfering somebody. Takuma Sato got pulled out, transferred, then got pulled out. I think that promoted Dixon in. Marco Andretti lost out because of issues.
Yeah, and I'll say one thing about that red flag, because I feel like that's messed up. When you have a guy that manages to get back to pit lane,
Marco Andretti,
and that's in pit lane, so in no way, shape, or form a danger for anyone, including himself.
Can't disagree.
And you put a 4-minute or 5-minute red flag, when all you had to do was bring him a few pit boxes forward, and you mess everybody's qualifying for it. I'm a little like, oh boy, really? Was that necessary? First of all, because you take him out of everything, because he can't even rerun, he can't even be part of qualifying, he had a fast car. Second, because it ruins it for everybody else, and he's done nothing wrong. So, I don't agree with that one.
Yeah.
But and then Colton, obviously, he pulled it off, fastest Andretti, and then, obviously he gets taken out for interference. So I'm sure they'll have, they'll fine-tune their dialogue with, managing traffic and the way they go out there. They were the last ones on track, and that you hate that. But most times it's not that you do it on purpose. You just get caught out. You have very limited rear view from the mirrors. You see mostly the rear tire and the ramp, so the perspective is really, really low, and most times you just hey, we got Robbie Wickens going by here.
How you doing, brother?
Good to see you, bud. And just a real shame, for a lot of people. But hey, there's 110 laps to figure out tomorrow.
Well, that's where I wanted to go. Let's close on that. So for fans who, you have at least one more night guaranteed where you are the defending champion. You're hoping to become a 3-time consecutive race winner here. But with those 110 laps tomorrow, looks like it's going to be warm again. We're feeling this wind moving around. Just general mindset, what you think you might experience and the other drivers might experience tomorrow in the race. What's going to be the thing you have to do right, or if you get it wrong, it's really going to hurt you?
Yeah, one of the toughest races of the season, really. First of all, because it's the first one, so you kind of like get back in the groove, and it's going to be hot and muggy and typical Florida weather when it gets winds from the south like it is right now.
He chooses to live here, by the way.
Yeah, it's great, but driving race car for 2 hours. Where the grip is pretty high and the steering wheel gets heavy as the track rubbers up and it's hot and sticky and muggy like that. It will be a challenge. We'll have plenty of blisters to show for tomorrow, and hopefully that will mean that we've gone through the entire race distance. But yeah, I think it'll be a very entertaining race again.
All right, I'm Hamburger. That's French Fry. We will say good night from St. Petersburg on Saturday, and the awesome thing about tomorrow, Seb, we have no idea what we'll be talking about afterwards. I might be rushing down to see you in Victory Lane again.
Sign me up.